Hi friends, let me take you to a adventurous journey to Wadi Munay. So we're just getting ready early morning, and then if you see here, it is on the Maliha Road, on the way to Hatta, and it would take around an hour to 20 minutes to reach there. We left very early in the morning, around 4:30 to 5. So as I said, you need to take the Emirates Road, right hand side to the big mosque. That will take you to the Maliha Road. You cross the fossil rocks, and then you come to a place called Wadi Munay Breaker. So that's what you need to put in into Google Maps to search to come to this place, Wadi Munay Breaker. Once you come here, you will take that right turn, and then that will lead you to the parking. Now, please be very aware that it's around 125 kilometers, and once you reach here, there are no washrooms and there are no stores that you can buy any necessary. So, please bring everything that you want. Choose water, first aid, tissues, wet tissues, and a little snack for you to, take a break. So once you come here, and then this is where you can park the vehicle. Uh, it was quite early that day morning, and there were no vehicles at that point of time, so we were the first to arrive there. You have a small board which says what you can do, what you cannot, so please have a look at that before you start. So this is what you will see when you will get out of your car, and this is what you will see from the parking. There's a small tiny metal bridge which you can walk through and actually see the entire view of the mountains. That's basically for measuring the level of the water there, if there had been any. You can walk up until end of that bridge and then see the entire view. The mountain that is in front of you is the mountain that we are going to hike. So that is where you need to head to. So that is where you need to walk to. This is a very nice place to actually do a camping or do barbecue as well. I mean, if you really want to do that. That's the Maliha Road that is in front of you. What you need to do is now start walking towards the path, and then we saw some beautiful birds up front just waking up, and then making some beautiful noise. On the right hand side, you would see a trail, so that is also a way which you can take. So that will be the reverse side of the loop. What you need to look towards is you need to look towards a camel pen. So there might be confusions on where to start the hike from. You need to look to the camel pen. You walk towards the camel pen, you would see a couple of camels there. Once you have reached the camel pen, that's where a tiny mini hike is already being set. This is just a kind of a tiny little bit of a hike which would be interesting for the kids, and they've started to build this up. I don't know if this is going to be a more commercial place in the future, but they've just started to make this tiny hill into a very nice looking hike, very attractive for the kids. They can start to learn how to hike by this tiny hill. There were lights, there were plants which were, you know, um, kept for watering, and then there were also places where you could use firewood or do barbecue, but it's not yet fully ready yet, so I'm not very sure if you can already start doing it. But this small hill or a hike would take you around 20 to 30 minutes if it is a kid with you. If it's an adult, it might take 15 minutes, I would say. So once we are done with that, we were looking for where does the real hike start from. So we didn't come here all the way for this tiny 30-minute hike. So we started to look into the map, and we started to explore where exactly we have to go. And then we figured out that once you come down this tiny hill, it is on the left hand side to this hill is where the actual hike starts. And now the entire hike is basically following the flow of river, or the probably ages ago that's where the river would have flowed. So just follow that river and then form a loop and come back to this camel pen or to the parking. That is what this entire hike is about. So now you can see the view from the top, and we did see some tiny insects. Now, this is called as an antlion. Now, this is absolutely harmless. Uh, my wife was trying to, dig out one and show what exactly it is to my daughter, and we were able to get one, though it's very rare to get one of those out. um, we managed to get one. These are absolutely harmless, tiny insects called antlion. These feed on small, tiny creatures like ants, or tiny, let's say, termites. But these are absolutely harmless, so you can have a look at that. And during the entire hike, we could see these holes created by the antlion. So that was quite interesting for my daughter to play around and find one for herself. Now, this is the view that you see from top of the tiny hill, and on the right hand side of the washroom that is being built, there is where we need to actually proceed with the hike. And we figured that out by looking at the maps, and then we started going through the river. We did come across some boulders, some huge rocks as well. It was quite challenging for us up front, because we clearly did not know whether we are going in the right direction. There are no clear trails that you can find somewhere in Al Rabi or in Shauka. This is an absolutely, no trails. You will have to figure out where you're going using the maps, or if you're using a specific application for that. We did spend some time here and there. We were just, because we are with a small kid, we gave her enough rest that she wanted. It was getting a bit warm. There was a nice sun. So it was really, really a good temperature for us to hike. Not very warm, not very cold. It was amazing. We were looking for some, animals or birds. We did see some geckos. My daughter was really excited. Some of the birds and some butterflies is all we saw. Nothing more than that. So it's kind of safe. We did see some rock formations. Of course, this is formed through a river, so the rocks has different formations. That was interesting to see. And then we started to proceed again with the hike. So as I wanted to, just repeat myself, that the entire hike is following that river. Be careful with the thorns. Might be careful for the kids at least. Please be mindful of any falling rocks. Always keep an eye on the small kids. This was our second hike, and after this we have also done Wadi Shauka, but I think the memories that we had from this hike was really nice and amazing. This is a bit of a secluded place, so you will not find anyone else in that area. It's very peaceful. It's very silent. So we then continued on the river, walking on, and then we saw the river going ahead to huge mountain, and then we just thought that, is it enough for keeping in mind our daughter? And then we did not want to tire her too much. So we checked the map, we referred the map, we discussed, and then we thought, okay, let's climb on top of this small hill and see what's on the other side. And this is that when we are on the top of that mountain, and then we crossed over from the river on top of the mountain, and when we saw the other side, we saw a couple of other hikers with a dog there, we did say hello. We saw people after 2 hours probably. That was nice to see them. And then we decided that, okay, let's take the route back. So we started to go down the way from the hill, and we then took the river on the other side. So if you are an advanced hiker, you can continue through that river. You can go on top of the peak, which would again, you have to again cross over the mountain, and then only then you would catch the river back to the starting point. So this is basically a loop uh, between the two sides of a mountain range, and then you can catch either of the rivers. So you can do either B to A, or you can do A to B as well. We chose the A to B route. It was difficult uphill, and there was a point when we didn't even realize that we have reached to a certain height, because we're just following the river. You're not actually climbing a mountain, so you're just going over boulders, rocks and stones, and then you're just walking on, and suddenly you see that you have gained a lot of altitude, and then you are on top of a mountain. And so then we crossed across, and then we took the other side of the river, and then we started walking backwards. At this stage, we were very clear that the route back, and we were kind of feeling confident that we will be reaching back well in time. And I was just being a bit adventurous there. We did spend some time building some small structures with the rocks, which was also interesting for my daughter. We took some rest there. There were some trees and shade, so we enjoyed that moment. Then we started walking again. So this time around, we were not walking within the river, but we were walking just besides the river, where they had clear tracks. So you can see here we are crossing this river, which is, if you follow the same river, you will end up reaching here only. And if you still follow the same river, we would go reach the starting point where the dam or kind of a breaker was built, right? Throughout the entire trail, there were a lot of butterflies, there were birds, and my daughter was always curious to see each and everything. We did try those small insects, which were I think the name is antilon. So she wanted to get one of her own. Yeah, so that was all funny, and that was all very nice experience. And then we started going back. So you could take this river, which would lead to the starting point, or you can just cross that river and then take that trail as well. You could clearly see some off-road vehicle trails there, which was kind of helpful to lead us to the starting point. Again, as I mentioned, this is a loop, so you can feel confident you will come back to where you started. And for advanced hikers, you can go further, and then you can extend your hike for longer. You can clearly see there were some establishments here. What I read on the internet was people used to live here many thousand years ago, and you can see signs of that here. So that was quite interesting for me to explain it to my daughter. And then the route that you see in front of you actually leads to the starting point. If you continue on this route, on the right hand side you will see your camel pen, and on the left hand side is where the parking is. Please be careful when you walk down. There might be some loose gravel, there might be some loose rocks, and I think the trick to go on hiking is to take small tiny steps rather than big steps, which would exhaust you quite easily, but take tiny steps. So here we are back to the parking, and it was good to see a couple of more cars. So we realized that people are coming here than what we thought. So that's the Wikilog plan, or you can say map. That's the loop that we did, and you see the blue dot there is the highest peak, which is around 440 meters. I would not say that this is a very difficult trail in terms of physical difficulty, but it is a bit challenging because it's very secluded. There are not many people around. That's the way back, and while we were coming back, we did some fruits. We did buy some fruits from the vendors, and then that's the fossil rock, which is on the way back. That's one of the targets for the next trial. That's my daughter Gia. I'll see you with the next trail video. Thank you.